This is the new American media. All right, we were talking about these crazy petitions that are being signed over here, Blake, in California. Oh, by the way, we're back with Blake, the eccentric Walley, here on Agree to Disagree at thenewamericanmedia.com. I just want to talk about these real quick. I can't say it any better than just listening to it will allow the point to come across. So this is people petitioning to confiscate guns from the Tea Party supporters and repeal the Second Amendment. I just want to play you a little bit of this, Blake. Here we go.
We don't need these Tea Partiers and these law-abiding citizens to own guns. That's for the police and the military, right? Yeah. In today's society, we can trust the government enough to be the only people who have the weapons, and we're just going to do some gun confiscations door to door and take them away from everybody. All right. Thanks for supporting. Are you 18?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just checking. What we'll do after the Second Amendment is repealed is we'll have some door-to-door searches to confiscate the registered weapons, since we have databases of all of them, and we'll just do what we can to get all the guns off the streets.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I don't know how much more absurd I can be, right? I mean, door-to-door gun confiscations. Holy cow. That's probably enough.
And then he wraps up that segment there. Blake, before I get your reaction, unless you have a quick hit, I'm just going to play you some of this this other petition thing that he did. Thoughts?
Yeah, that was one that probably people saw. I got a ton of views, and that was on Drudge Reports. And, yeah, it was. He even got to do a cameo on Fox and Friends. I never thought I would see that, but, yeah, very interesting development. But yeah, he made another. They made another video that was just released a couple days ago. It was like a joint effort with him and some of the staff at InfoWars.
And that's what this is here. The petition. Well, it'll speak for itself.
So just print, sign, and a zip code, just to not cut the force by 20%, please.
Okay.
Talking about the police force.
And what this petition is doing is it's supporting the police state, and we're sort of modeling the new American police state after Russia and Germany's police state. Zip code, please, to support the police state in America. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man, thank you.
We're supporting the police state. This petition is supporting the growing police state in America, and we're modeling our police state off of the one in Russia and Germany. So thanks for supporting the police state.
You're welcome.
And what we're going to do is, with the Obamacare, is inject the kids with as many vaccines filled with mercury as we can, and just help to increase the autism rates and the side effects. So you just supported that. Thank you.
Blake.
That was awesome. Yeah.
What makes it so awesome? Just the train wreck nature of it. You got to crane your neck when you see something bad on the freeway. Like what?
I was surprised he said something that bold. Yeah, we're going to shoot your kids up with mercury, and they just didn't. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll sign the petition. I mean, people. No, it's amazing. Yeah, they've literally been turned into zombies, as they say. It's a real phenomenon, and people are just half asleep out there. They're not paying attention to anything, and as long as it's pro-Obama, they'll sign anything. And yeah, to like take people's guns away, do door-to-door gun confiscations, turn the country into a police state, and yeah, shooting your kids up with all kinds of weird vaccines with Obamacare, and yeah, the people just sign away. It's hilarious, but that's and apparently both those videos were done. Some people criticize and say, "Oh, they must have been out there all afternoon trying to," and then they edited the whole video. But apparently, they've said no. Really, it took 15, 20 minutes to shoot those videos, and the responses are pretty hilarious.
If there's anybody out there agreeing to sign stuff like that, I don't care if it takes all day or not.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you have to pass like some sort of test to now I know that there used to be like voting tests back during the racist days where they tried to keep blacks from voting in the South and horrible stuff like that, But I mean, really, if you don't understand that gun confiscation and losing your civil liberties and invoking a police state modeled after Russia in Germany is a bad idea, I mean, do these people really need to vote? Regardless of who they are, what they look like, where they're coming from. I mean, if these people don't understand American values, is there any minimum requirement that we could possibly enact to be a voter in this country? Or just, we just community organize and get everybody out. Get out the vote. Get out the vote. Everybody votes. What is the answer, Blake?
No, in summary, I've thought about stuff like that before, or just at least to I don't know, have people just vote on the issues or something, let their picks of the issues, let them vote for their candidate. But yeah, it just shows you the mentality of the average, like, progressive Democrat liberal that's out there. They're not paying any attention as long as it's against the Republicans, and they'll vote for anything. And I mean, they're really just you don't see like a passionate base there that really knows their stuff. I mean, they're really low information people. You can get them to show up in droves to get out and vote, but they really don't have a clue what's going on outside of that, other than the fact that I guess they're well-meaning people and they know that the Republicans are wrong, so somehow they think that if they vote against them, then they're right. It's very dangerous, and yeah, I don't know if we've ever seen this kind of level of ignorance in the United States like that. But that's certainly pretty scary stuff.
Well, let's blend ignorance with hubris, Blake, because you found a couple of interesting things about hubris. There's another way to phrase this. I'm stuck on hubris. Maybe you can help me with a
arrogance.
Arrogance. Maybe. Yeah, self-absorption. Lack of connection with the common man. I don't know. There's a lot of ways.
I'll look that up while we're discussing.
Yeah, because what we were getting at is that even some of the not so right wing, not so conspiracy theory. Such a stupid phrase. Come with something better than conspiracy theories.
Audacity, vanity,
audacity,
arrogance, excessive self-confidence.
Wait, are you on thesaurus.com?
No, I picked up dictionary.com.
Close enough. But that's what places like Politico now are starting to really call out the president. And this is something pretty new, Blake. It hasn't been this way for a long time.
Yeah, Politico's fairly liberal, but I mean, I'm talking 3 stories that actually jumped out this week on Politico. Surprised me. One was immigration reform and how that could be a bonanza for the Democrats. That was a very controversial article because we don't want to get sidetracked here, but you guys can know where that leads. All the immigrants most of them are probably going to vote Democrat. Second, which is interesting that they point that out. Another one they said where the lawmakers and aides may get Obamacare exemption. That kind of attacks the aristocratic elite that, the lawmakers don't want a part of Obamacare, but it's good for the rest of the people, I guess. And then, of course, the one you just mentioned, interesting, great article that was on Drudge as well today, and that's, Obama's hubris problem. So we've got a liberal-leaning publication that is not afraid to criticize its own administration. So my hat is off. I salute Politico for some of the articles they put out this week and being fair and not being a bunch of partisan hacks like Media Matters and Think Progress and Raw Story and Crooks and Liars and and on and on. But anyway, where do we want to start with this, Brian? To explain the hubris problem, the arrogance. And I remember one of the stories that jumps out at me, and I think this is in this article. You know what? I'm not going to talk about it right now. Why don't we jump into it? Do you want me to start, Brian? Or
rock on, rock and roll. I'm thinking of the golf thing, and we can talk about his 2 round trip Hawaiian vacations, and then partying with Tiger Woods. Just 6 weeks later. And Michelle Obama
exactly
vacationing in Colorado, and No reason to worry about anything. It's not like, what is unemployment? 8%, 9%? And if you actually look at the real number with unemployed or underemployed, what are we, 25%? People don't really even have decent jobs with decent health care anymore. It's requiring a college degree to work at freaking McDonald's.
Yeah, because people that have like multiple jobs aren't counted the same. They have tricky ways that they manipulate.
Hey, as long as we can add another 11 million legal workers, that won't make it harder for the people already here to get a job, right?
Yeah, that's a minimum 11 million. Yeah, because like we have a big labor shortage and we need extra help.
Anyway,
yeah, where are these people going to go? Yeah.
All right, go ahead then. I jumped in front of you with that.
No worries. Tuesday morning, a peculiar announcement trickled out of the White House press office. President Barack Obama would be holding a moment of silence for the victims of the Boston bombings at the White House by himself. No press or other intruders allowed, except the White House photographer. Now, that Obama assumed Americans would want an iconic photo of him privately mourning the victims of the bombings was emblematic of a kind of hubris that has enveloped the president and his White House as the president commences his second term. Now, hubris in a leader is an obnoxious thing, leading to imperiousness in governing, and it is also a dangerous thing for a second-term president, often spelling trouble. Now, unfortunately, this president's acts of high-handedness and self-absorption have been accumulating in the past several months at a blistering pace. Now, even as the nation's workers wilted under a struggling economy and high unemployment, Obama decided to take 2-round excursions to Hawaii at taxpayer expense over the Christmas and New Year's holiday. And just 6 weeks later, he jetted down to Florida for a luxury 4-day golf vacation where he played with Tiger Woods. Meanwhile, Michelle Obama also took another vacation skiing in Colorado. Now, we want to stop here, but I mean, yeah, they're talking about, there's a sequester going on, and we got to make all these cutbacks. But, it really didn't stop the White House motorcade 3 Saturdays in a row to take a 50-minute round-trip drive to the Joint Base Andrews Golf Course. So I can continue here. We got in a true Marie Antoinette moment, Obama offered to pare back his pay by 5% as a show of empathy for those that are being furloughed. So at an annual salary of $400,000 a year, that would force him to get by on only a meager $380,000. In addition to a couple $100,000 extra dollars he can probably expect to make from this year's book sales. But, here's the one that upset me. This is in the very beginning. Yeah, his Memphis soul music legends that he threw a big party for himself. Yeah, it wasn't any special occasion, but he just had this big, that was with Justin Timberlake and some of the blues legends, and it was pretty disgusting. Yeah, and so he commended California's Attorney General for being the hottest of attorney generals. And he gave himself, and he also gave himself an exclusive viewing in the White House theater of the Jackie Robinson biopic 42. And now, I guess this is tomorrow night, he'll be partying with journalists and their celebrity guests at the annual White House Correspondents Association Bash. I'm going to stop there, Brian.
Jackie Robinson, was she the hottest baseball player on the Dodgers ever?
That's an interesting question. I never really quite thought of that.
Wait, Jackie. Was Jackie that might have been a guy, wasn't it?
Right. Yes.
Now, hold on. How does the president say something so stupid as far as she's the hottest? I mean, we should know better than to be saying things like that, right? I mean, come on.
Well, if you're there's certain situations.
You're married. You're in bed with the far left and the feminazis. I mean, there's 100 things wrong with him letting that slip out. Like, you're starting to get really cocky and sloppy if you're starting to flirt publicly with other people, right? Like, that doesn't seem
perhaps. I mean, it's kind of a funny joke because I would imagine that most people that are attorney generals are probably not, a good-looking girl under the age of 35. So, I think it got taken a little bit too far, but it's still
okay. So
you'll
give him a pass.
I'll give him a little. Yeah, that one I have probably the least issue with. And one of the ones I have a huge issue with was that big Memphis Festival where he had all these big acts, and I forget exactly how much that was billed to the taxpayers. But the thing is, and it's like, you want your president to at least, you want to have him some fun or but I mean, there was no occasion for it. It was just like hey, I'm the president, so I can arrange to have a private concert in the frickin' White House, and it wasn't, just for no reason whatsoever, and then bill it to the taxpayers. I mean, that is a sign of arrogance from your leader. So, and that's not appropriate for a U.S. president.
Times are either tough or they're not. Is kind of where
especially the economy is in horrible shape. I mean, it's just rubbing it in everyone's face. It was terrible.
Well,
and of course, this is going on. It's just talking about the nation continues to suffer under his stewardship of the economy. Now, this is out of Politico. This isn't out of Breitbart or something like that. So or Daily Caller. So you got when gun legislation he backed failed to pass last week, he threw an epic hissy fit in the Rose Garden. Proclaiming his opponents were liars who thought it wasn't worth it to protect kids from gun violence. And then he contemptuously said what binds Republicans together is their commitment to helping the rich. And he delivered his budget 2 months late to Congress. So such disregard for appearances and disdain for his opposition suggests a president who perceives himself as free from the fetters that keep normal people in line and give presidents a sense of perspective. So, it was, what else can I say on here? Certainly the core of Watergate was, what do we got, the Obamacare thing? I mean, this is a pretty good hit piece here, but certainly the core of Watergate was corruption, but only a sense of hubris could have convinced Richard Nixon late in his first term that he could get away with covering it up. You've got a little Lewinsky joke. You've got, what else do we have? Last line, just the last paragraph here. If Obama starts to get too grand a sense of himself and sheds his last vestiges of concern for how others perceive him, it could lead him, as it has so many in positions of power, to believe he is beyond accountability. Kind of sounds like him or Eric Holder, and that could end up as a tragedy for him and for the nation. Yeah, so... Scathing. Yes, it is a scathing article, but it's well written, it's right on point, and kudos to Keith Koffler of Politico.
Oh, that was an alliteration. Kudos to Keith Koffler. Crazy. No, it's reaching a point right now where it seems like the president's ultimate plans, like they're slipping through his hands, and that's when things could get dangerous. When people realize he was really upset that he wasn't able to put really tight gun legislation in. It's
and call people liars, and people don't care about kids.
Right.
Implications.
Because I want to protect myself and my family. I obviously want to hurt children. Right? No, that must be the truth if I'm a liar. I must want to hurt children because I want to be able to protect myself and my family. Right. I've never hurt a child in my life, but I'm obviously interested in hurting children, and a liar. Yeah, that doesn't make a lick of sense at all. That's a difference in opinion. You can personally choose to disarm yourself if you want, but anyway. Well, that's
what's appropriate for the president anyway. What is he doing with all these little issues? What is he doing at Planned Parenthood today? He's fighting this gun bill, or he's going out for gay marriage. I mean, come on, fix the economy, do something with foreign policy. You got your real issues to deal with, and you're dealing with all these little issues that most people don't really care that much about. So.
Did you just segue from me saying I want to hurt children to talking about Planned Parenthood without acknowledging? Anyhow.
Sorry, that was also one of the controversial things in the news, because a couple days ago he canceled his appointment because everybody, I think, was concerned about this Kermit, this nutso abortion clinic doctor. So they had to make his appearance on Friday, so I guess they could kind of bury it in the weekend news cycle.
Well, it's all about protecting children. It's all about protecting innocent children, Blake.
Yeah.
Right?
And by openly supporting, Planned Parenthood. I know.
I do support Planned
Hey, he's
Parenthood.
above accountability, right?
I do. He is. I'm above the law.
Thinks he is.
I do support the preventative measures that Planned Parenthood that they provide with the preventative things,
right?
The condoms and the whatnot and the this and that. Draw a line in the middle, and the other stuff I do not support. You know, to prevent something is different than, you know. But remember, gun control is all about protecting kids, right?
Nationwide adoption shortage, and they're looking for kids. It's that's a side issue. We don't want to get too.
We never get into the topics we usually avoid, Blake: abortion, gay marriage, immigration. We usually avoid these things. Usually.
Yeah.
One of these days, we might actually have to have a conversation about it. I think we got close to having a conversation there about it.
Almost. Yeah, I know. I'm not.
But luckily,
it's a complicated issue, and I don't want to. Yeah, well, it's for another day.
Okay,
for another day.
Indeed. Well, it is going to be for another day because I want to talk about CISPA and let you go. One last thing. You're listening to The New American Media. This is Agree to Disagree. I'm your host, Brian Engelman. Please follow us on Twitter at American_media_. Search The New American Media on Facebook.com and like our page because we like it when you do that. Check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com, and click subscribe on youtube.com/The New American Media. Blake, the eccentric Walley, is our special guest for today's program. You can follow him on Twitter. He's at eccentric99. His homepage is eccentricperspective.com, and you can sign up for his podcast of his radio show. It's called Eccentric Perspective by going on iTunes and searching Eccentric Perspective. His show can be heard every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday from noon to 1:30 p.m. Pacific on freedomizerradio.com. Take a quick little break here, and we'll be right back on the other side here on the TNAM Radio Network.
You are listening to The New American Media.